Okay. So while I was writing my monologue showpiece this year, I was like, let me do something different. Like all seniors think that, right? They want to make their time on this stage very special. I want to do something like quirky, But I was like, last year I did a piece about my mom. And, she's my favorite person on this whole world. But I only talked about the positives. So this year I was like, let's tell like the other side of the story. There are certain things that she does that you could only understand if you are blessed enough to live in an Indian household. Or cursed. So my favorite thing that like my mom does is she takes random words and she'll rhyme them with words that don't exist for extra emphasis. I've never understood why she does this, but I'll give an example, right? So I'll like come down the stairs, she'll be like, oh, like did you eat? I'm like, yeah, like I ate some cereal. She's like, what is this cereal nonsense? Or like, we like go school supply shopping and I'm like, oh mom, like can you get that binder for me? She's like, oh, you want this folder? I'm like, no, I need a binder. She's like, binder, same thing, I don't understand. She's also like super obsessed with like cleaning. It's like to the point where I'm pretty sure she would make like the perfect criminal, just because like she could get away with the murder without a trace, right? Like the police would come, see the body, and be like, okay, like there's no blood stains, the murder weapon is gone, but the shirt is ironed and the hair is cold. It's Nisha's mom, like they're gonna figure it out. I feel like because she's so paranoid about like cleaning, she needs everything to be done like right away, right? So if she tells you like go do something, you have 5 seconds to do it. And if you like cross this like 5-second rule, she'll do something unimaginable. She'll do it herself. But like when she does it herself, she won't just like do it and like walk away. She'll like make you feel bad about not doing it. So she'll be like, oh, like how come you didn't put rice in rice cooker? I'm like, you already did it yourself. She's like, don't talk to me that way. If you talk to me like that one more time, somebody going to get beat. And when she says this, I'm like, who is this somebody? Because me and my mom both know it's going to be me, but when she says somebody, she gives me this ounce of hope that maybe one day it might be my sister instead of me. She has me in the corner. I'm like praying. I'm like, please let it not be me today, But she doesn't do this when there's like people over, right? Because when we have like guests over, she'll be so sweet to me. She's like, Nisha, sweetie, like, can you please come downstairs? And I'm like, oh, like, I'll come later. Like, I'm working on homework or whatever. And she'd be like, oh, okay, just stay in your room. And I'd be like, since when did I have my own room? Just like an act, so like CPS doesn't come knocking on our door, right? Because like I know for a fact, as soon as everybody leaves and like I'm like about to go to sleep, she like walks in my room, she's like, hey buddy, you're gonna go to sleep, huh? And whack, she's like, what is this later business? Like, I just never get it. I feel like Indians also have like a really high standard of problems. This one applies more to my dad, but it still works. So like, let's say I have like a cut on my leg. He'd be like, just wait 2 days, it'll go away. And I'm like, okay. I'll break my arm. Okay, I'll go down with my dad. My arm is broken. And he'd be like, it's okay, just wait a month, don't move. You'll be fine. I think the only thing that like might get a reaction is like if I like crash my car, he's like, is the car okay? Because that's when it matters. It's when the car, something happens to the car. But like even then after 5 minutes he'll come up to me and be like, it's okay, at least there's like one more organ donor, It's just but I feel bad because like as an Americanized Indian, my biggest problem is like, is there like gluten in this? I can't take it. I don't even know what gluten is, to be honest. If I wrote like an article on Facebook about how it's like the next biggest virus, the first person to believe it would be my mom, because Indian people believe everything on Facebook. Like, I'll give you a perfect example, right? We had like a maid come over, right? She was like cleaning our house. My mom like came in the room, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I live here, right? Where's the maid? I'm like, oh, she's in the living room, like cleaning tables or whatever. Why aren't you with her? It's okay, I'll stay single for now, you know? Why aren't you watching her? Why would I watch her? Why don't you steal September? I read on Facebook. So now it's just this awkward interaction between me and the maid. Like she's just like, you know. This is bad. Not only is my mom super gullible, she's also like the most innocent person I know. So like when we were little, we would like, you know, like sing songs in the car together that came on the radio. And because she's an immigrant, she wouldn't understand exactly what the lyrics meant. So like, the song like S&M came on, right? So I was in the back and I was like, nah, come on. And she was my friend, she was like, chains and a whip, excite me. And my dad was like, I'm sure they do. It's too easy to make fun of Indian people. Like we just make fun of ourselves by existing, you know? I feel bad for my mom. She's like in the audience. She's like, oh my God, it's so funny, huh? But like as soon as they go home, she's gonna be like, I raised you for 18 years. I'm just a joke to you. Like, you know, I just feel bad. But like, I like truly appreciate being like an Indian American because I get to experience the culture of like both, right? This last story I'm about to tell you might make you like a little uncomfortable, just bear with me. So a couple of years ago, I went to India, and we were just like walking on the beach or whatever, and my 6-year-old cousin sees a white person for the first time, right? She's like a blonde, she's blue eyes, she's like gorgeous, right? My cousin decides to just do this thing. She was like, hey, look, whitey! You need to stop, right? And I was like trying to calm her down, but she was just relentless. She grabbed my aunt's hand, she's like, look, whitey! And I was like, okay. And I was so scared for how this whole scenario was about to play out, right? But like to my surprise, she was like, you know, she like looked at her hand, she looked at the woman's hand, she touched her hair, she touched the woman's hair. And they just started talking and playing. And ladies and gentlemen, although this may seem like racism or discrimination, to me this is the exact opposite of that for 2 reasons. The first is the people where I'm from are as dark as this curtain. Like if I wore all black and stood against this, my mom would be like, oh my God, where did my daughter go? But the second reason is that this is the simplest act of acceptance and acknowledgement. Like, if I just met my cousin in Naperville, she would just go around saying, white, because she has no concept of political correctness. In fact, I feel like PC culture has gone a little bit too far in our society today. We just go about life saying, if you just go about life saying, I don't see color, how are we supposed to acknowledge each other's differences? By saying this, we nearly drift apart. My skin is different, my hair is different, my traditions are different than some of you in this room. But that's okay to acknowledge. Standing up here and making fun of my mom, my culture, or my traditions may seem a little funny at first, but it's my way of accepting my culture and my traditions. So if you're in this audience spacing out this whole time, which I don't know why you would want to miss all of this, you know. But I would want you to take away 2 things from this. One is go about life meeting as many people as you can. Acknowledge each other's differences, cultures, and traditions. And second, make sure you go home and give your kids a nice Beats. But not you, Mom.